Welcome to another episode of How I'm Building This, where we interview startup founders in the thick of building their businesses. We learn from their mistakes and get practical tips to overcoming challenges. Today we have Luke from Liner. Hey Luke, how are you? Thanks so much for joining.
Hi, Prateek. Nice to join the podcast. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks so much. Luke, before we jump into the business, I'd love to learn who's Luke, where did you grow up, and what really got you into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, um, I grew up in Korea, Seoul, Korea. So I majored computer science. And the reason I majored computer science is that I thought that this major will be the best one to study to start a business. Um, I actually lived in Boston when I was quite young, like 7, 8, 9, 10, because my father had a work there. And that time was one of the uh, like biggest bubbles in the tech history. So it was the dot-com bubble era.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, right. So I think my parents thought that this venture thing that back then it was called venture rather than a startup, I think. So that venture thing was quite interesting, and my parents told me to like start a venture. And since I was very young, I asked them about what is a venture,
Yeah.
and then my father told me that a venture is an adventure. And then since I was an elementary school student and quite young, like as a as a quite young elementary school student, adventure is one thing that you want to go into. So I told them that I'm gonna go into venture, and since everything that was happening back then mostly was about computer and internet, my one of my dream jobs was becoming a computer scientist and then starting to become an entrepreneur. So I majored computer science. Um, and also there was one role model, one guy who was an entrepreneur, who was a friend of my parents, and it was very interesting to see how he built software. He writes software and then publish it online, and everybody can get benefit from it. And it was really inspiring. So I somehow convinced myself of becoming an entrepreneur, doing software. Uh, One interesting journey of mine will be starting Liner. Um, Even though I majored computer science in Korea, I started Liner in San Jose, in California, because I wanted to create a product that can be used globally, literally
Wow.
globally. Yeah, like not only bound in Korea. I wanted to influence as many as people as possible. And then I thought that I should do something in English or Chinese maybe, but I can't speak Chinese. But since I lived in Boston when I was young, I was able to speak English. So I'm gonna write something that's going to be published in English. And then if I'm going to write a software in English and create a global audience, where is the best place I should go? It was Silicon Valley. So me and my co-founder just rented an Airbnb apartment and moved to San Jose and started Liner there. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So you spent a few years in Boston. Are you a Celtics fan?
uh, I was too young to become a fan of something. I was just a big fan of Pokemon back then. Yeah.
That's awesome. Look, I like read somewhere that you wanted to initially bootstrap Liner. What made you decide to go down the venture funding route?
Uh-huh. So initially, we were not looking for like angel investment or other venture backing, and I somehow made some initial fund by creating like other people's website or app. But one day I figured out that just focusing on one thing and doing one thing really well is going to make me live, not like live long but become a zombie. So uh, our initial venture funding story is also quite interesting because in Korea, there was some people, some VCs that wanted to fund Liner because we were able to get some users globally rather than in Korea in local markets. So we got some traction from VCs in Korea initially, and they actually suggested about $1 million as a seed round, and it was a lot of money for a senior senior student majoring computer science. So we thought about that a lot, but eventually we didn't accept it because the VCs wanted us to do something else rather than Liner. Because
That's so
yeah,
interesting.
so what they appreciated was the ability to create a product and create global audience, but they didn't believe in Liner's vision and Liner's future. So we thought that if we are going to do something that other people will guide us, why do we start our own startup then, even though they are going to give us $1 million? So me and my co-founder uh, rejected the offer and then started to look for angel investment who is going to be the backer of our vision. So Liner's initial vision was to filter very high quality and relevant information from the web and make it searchable by everybody. So it was something like Google, but high quality version of Google search. That was our initial vision. And in Korea, it was very hard to find people who were willing to buy into this kind of large vision. But somehow we found two entrepreneurs who are really, really successful in Korea. And one guy is successful globally. One is co-founder of Nexon, which is one of the
Well,
largest team company, in the world, I think. So they backed us as angel investment, and then we were able to build Liner other platforms. Like we started out as an iOS app, and then we added Chrome extension, and then Android app. So at this time, we only had iOS app, but this funding led us to create Chrome extension. And Liner's first version of Chrome extension had a very high retention curve and a very high product market fit, very good product market fit. So starting from there, we were able to raise funds from VCs. Yeah. Mm.
that's awesome. And now here you are 10 years down the road where you'll raise a very successful Series B round. Very intrigued to learn, Luke, in this tough funding environment, what were some of the things that y'all did that ensured that y'all would have a successful fundraise?
So along the journey, what I've learned is that the most important thing is to do the most important thing really well, right? So try for us trying to do everything well, like gaining a lot of traction and making a lot of money and maybe saving a lot of money at the same time was impossible. So if the market is more about like user growth, then uh, we focused on user growth rather than becoming too efficient on utilizing the capital that we've raised. And if the market was about like survival and showing the viability of the business model, then we try to show that our growth in ARR is the top class in the around the globe in the world. So doing the one thing that is most important really, really well, that always helped us survive and get to the next level. And for the latest round, the Series B one, it was quite interesting because uh, Liner initial version of Liner was not using large language models because we started in 2015 and there was no large language model back then.
Yeah.
So we were highlighter pen, and we had an AI model at the back end which was recommending articles, so recommender model there. But starting from early last year, everybody knows that ChatGPT like changed the world,
Yep.
and the API of OpenAI's GPT 3.5 Turbo was released. I think a lot of capitals were very curious about how startups can utilize this kind of technology to create value. And also, since the market was quite frozen, how can you make money out of it? So we tried to use this technology to of course, everything that we do is within our vision. We are
Yeah.
trying to help people find reliable information faster than using other things. So we try to use this technology to go forward towards our vision in terms of product. And also, we added a new kind of business model. It was a subscription, and then try to show that this is growing really fast. And fortunately, these two went quite well. I think Liner's user growth in AI industry and Liner's subscription revenue-based growth in the entire subscription industry, the growth rate was both the top tier globally. And thanks to this, what happened was we got chosen as the fourth most used AI product in the world by Andreessen Horowitz.
That's amazing.
And yeah, and this led to a lot of serendipities,
Yeah.
like really top tier VCs in the Bay Area contacted us as an inbound. We didn't reach out as an inbound. We got a lot of traction, and this traction led to a lot of inbound of like the most prominent VCs in Korea as
Wow.
well. And it was very interesting for us because what they offered or suggested was quite different. So United States, the market is larger. The obviously, if you raise funds here, it will be larger. But for us, as a startup outside from Korea, even though our traction is mostly from United States, our startup itself is from outside Korea. It was quite uncertain that these really top tier VCs are going to actually commit and fund a significant amount to us yet. We have to show more. So it was quite uncertain, but had a large opportunity. In Korea, it was quite the opposite. It was large because it's about $30 million, so it's a really large fundraising. And also, they were very committed. So we are going to finish this race within like a month. So,
Wow.
so after thinking a lot about the pros and cons, we thought that for this round, since the competition is getting really harsh, it will be better for us to secure significant amount of fund, certainly, and then use this to become the one of the winners in the AI industry, and then tap again the largest capital market in the world again.
Yeah.
So this will be our strategy. So
That's awesome.
this
So
is how
look,
we.
you've of course gone through different funding cycles.
Mhm.
What is tough about running a venture-backed company?
Uh-huh. So a venture-backed company. So if you are going to raise some funds, it should have obvious purposes, and
Yeah.
mostly it's about go-to-market and R&D. And I think as the stages change and what kind of business you are doing, the portion of the capital that is going to be allocated to will change. But for a consumer startup like us, I think mostly it's about go-to-market. So we have to scale faster than other competitors because there are not much space for consumers to have in their head. Like they don't think about multiple products for one purpose. And consumers uh, may look logical, but actually they are not. So even though there is something that is cheaper, faster, and maybe have a high performance, if another product is already in the head, consumers might not choose it. Compared to like enterprise or B2B, if something is cheaper, faster, and performance is better, obviously the enterprise is going to choose that even though they were using other things. But consumers are quite different. So for consumer startup who is venture backed, I think have a kind of obligation to scale faster because it will maximize the probability of your survival and growth.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'd love to get your take on hiring. Now at Series B, number one, has your mindset changed about how you hire? And two, like what are some of those qualities that you look for in your future potential hires?
Mhm. So I think the team that you can build can build changes alongside your journey as your startup grows and how you are capitalized,
Yeah.
how you are financed. So in the beginning, of course, we want to hire the best guys who are who has the highest raw intelligence and also experience maybe, and also who are willing to bet on your vision. But
Yeah.
it's really hard to find people like that. So I think founders and co-founders should be people like that. But the first guys that you can hire are likely not to be people like that. So for us, our strategy has changed from hiring interns from very good schools in Korea or around the Bay Area. And then after Series A, we were able to go further and hire people who are juniors in um, like companies who do really well,
Yeah.
building great products and good technology. And then for now, we have the opportunity to go further and hire who are like seniors or maybe even executives in good companies these days. And so one side is whether you can hire this kind of people or not
Yeah.
side, and another side I think is the difficulty of the problem that you have to face. So in the beginning, moving fast was really important for us. Even now, of course, moving fast is really important. But um, as time goes by, more and more, we have to be smarter and smarter in choosing the things that we have to do. And it's
Yeah.
very interesting because if the team is small, we think that um, since the team is small, finding one thing that is really important is very important. Of course, this is important alongside the journey, but in the beginning, it looks more important, but it gets more important as you go by.
Yeah.
So choosing the right technology, choosing the right market, choosing the right go-to-market strategy is really important because a lot of other team members are going to focus on that specific dots that you pick. So you have to be smarter and choosing the right dots, right focus things. I think needs some experience.
Sure.
So yeah, as the team goes by, the difficulty of the job that you have to do, or maybe the characteristic of your job kind of changes.
That's for
So
sure. Very
your
cool.
hire has to change accordingly.
Yes, that's for sure. Look, on your website, you say accelerate your research. What is the pain you are solving and for whom?
So our customers are currently university students or graduate students or researchers
Okay.
in United States mainly. What we do is we provide AI generated answers if you ask questions. But the difference from ChatGPT is that we provide the sources, the references that the AI used to generate the answer at the right side. And also each sentence is fact checked. So if you click on the sentence that Liner provides, if you click on the sentence, Liner will show you which web page and
Oh,
which
wow.
part of the web page that it referenced. So what this means is that you don't have to search it on Google again to be certain, and you don't have to read through the entire document to be certain
Yeah.
to use that information for your essay, a report, or academic papers. So um, the reason we are really focused on providing this kind of very high quality sources and also fact checking and giving some citation formatting is because the pain point that our customers had was, even though they were using ChatGPT, what they need was not just the answers. They need
Understood.
answers and the references
And the
that can
reference,
be
yeah.
used to their essays. And most of the AI products didn't give the references, and there are some AI products that give references, but they mostly always use like Wikipedia as one of the sources. And if you are writing essay, you can't reference ChatGPT. If you're writing essay, you can't reference Wikipedia. So they needed an AI product that can not only give answers, but give a reliable reference that can be referenced on their essays. So that was what we found, and we are doubling down on.
That's awesome. So that said though, like, so is your go-to-market motion more of like a B2C play versus a typical B2B motion?
Mm. Our current go-to-market motion is all about consumers, so B2C. So what we do is we try to be everywhere. When our users are awake, we try to be at least once appear. We try to appear at least once on their screen, maybe. So and even their offline moments. So we do PR. So if you see news, Liner will be there. If we do some digital marketing, so if you look at YouTube or search on Google, Liner will be there. We do social media, so if you open TikTok or Instagram, Liner will be there. We do offline activities like ambassadors, so your friends will be using Liner. You know, one good comment from one of the potential customers that we've interviewed from uh, school in California was that, can you bring some of your friends who are not using Liner? We want to interview our customers. And then he said, but all of my friends are currently using Liner. So, so I think this kind of good things can happen because we are very much focused on one target segment.
Yeah.
And we are trying to be really sharp and try to give a very focused product solution to our target customers there.
Yeah, that's for sure. So look, as the fourth most used Gen AI product on the web with what 10 million registered users, what are like top two or three tactics that you all have used that have gotten you all here?
Mhm. So it changed throughout the journey. So at the beginning, we didn't have any money, so we had to rely 100% on being like featured on good stores or good communities. So we strategically tried to try to launch almost every major releases on Product Hunt.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so if you go to Product Hunt and search Liner, unlike other products, there will be Liner iOS, Liner Android, Liner Chrome, Liner Firefox, Liner Bookmark, Liner something. So we try to gain initial traction by being featured on this kind of community. And if you look at the results of our activity, it was quite successful. Most of the launches that we did, most of them went into top 5.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, most of them. So uh, at the beginning, the product launch was quite helpful. And if you do this kind of activities and try to build a good product for the customers, then I think some good things happen. Like for us, Liner got featured on the main page of iOS App Store on United States, and it led to like tens of thousands of downloads every day. So that also boosted our growth. And after that, since Liner gets featured on various communities and get mentioned by a lot of people, the organic traffic grew.
Yeah.
That was the initial part. And then after getting Series A funding, we were able to start digital marketing and do some PR. So we try to find the like very efficient digital marketing strategies, and we were able to find some of them. So we grew again really fast. These days, what we are trying to do is to grow the virality of
Okay.
Liner. So we are on top of the organic growth that we've made initially, and on top of the digital marketing things. Since significant amount of users are visiting Liner, we are trying to use that traffic to gain more from it. And we are trying a lot of things. We don't have like a certain answer yet, but since we were able to find answers at each step, we are very confident that we will find one this time as well.
Yeah, that's fair. So that said, though, right? I mean, like, y'all have tried so many things, and quite a few of them seem to have worked. What were some of the things that just did not work?
Sorry.
That's right.
So I think trying to double down on digital marketing budget when you are not ready on your product or
Yeah.
maybe business model is one of the good mistakes that a lot of founders can make. I think we also had this kind of problem when we just started marketing because we were not doing marketing at all. We were growing 100% organically, and the first days that we've done digital marketing, we actually did not know about the like conversion and how they are retaining. We didn't know which metrics are the ones that we should see, so we were just happy to see a lot of users get to know Liner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a mistake because it will lead you to a very hard place where you spent a lot, but your ARR didn't grow maybe, or monthly active users didn't grow. Then it's very hard to get to the next step because you don't have evidence that you can do well next time yet. Yeah. So in terms of fundraising, it will get you in a hard place. Liner was lucky because we were able to get a lot of monthly active users at least. It didn't all convert to revenue then, but we were able to grow to a lot of user base. So yeah, we were lucky, but I think it was one of the riskiest moment of Liner. And also for me, uh, yeah. This was not a problem that we faced, but I think it might have become a problem if we did not act fast, was when we saw the wave of AI.
Okay.
So you see there were a lot of waves like blockchain, AI, and maybe before that like sharing economy, mobile, the fintech, a lot of them. I think founders can get really it's very attempting. Yeah, it's very likely for you to go to that trend if that trend looks like a mega trend. But we try to always focus on our vision side. So does blockchain help Liner serve our customers find reliable information faster? We thought that it wasn't, so we didn't go into that. I think that was a good move. If does this AI help users? And we thought that it does. So we made a major pivot last year. And if we didn't do this kind of transition, we won't be at this place. So I think we were at a risky moment, but we chose the right path. So we are here. So I think you have to pick the right horses to ride on, right?
Yeah.
Yes. That is a really, really important one, I think.
That's for sure. Look, you have mentioned lucky a few times. I'm sure luck has some part to play in this. But that said, though, to me, Liner is an overnight success, 10 years in the making. And that being said, though, what have been some very important pivots that y'all made through these 10 years that have, of course, gotten y'all here?
One of the major pivots is regarding to how we hired people, actually.
Okay.
So before this kind of at the beginning, we just hired people who had the skills.
Okay.
So even though they were not buying into our vision, or they were not willing to have a meaningful relationship with entire team. Um, even though they didn't have those, if they had a skills like Android development skills or marketing skills, design skills, we just hired them. But it led to a very weak tied team. It was very hard to convince them to like work hard when we needed hard working. It was very hard to persuade them to since our vision is about this, we are going this way. It was very hard to persuade them because they were not believing in the vision.
Yeah.
So me and my co-founder thought really heavily and read a lot of books, and we read this Principles by Ray Dalio. And in the book there is a saying that he looked for meaningful relationship and meaningful work, and we thought that we were only doing meaningful work for ourselves. We are not doing meaningful relationship as an entire team, and maybe we are not doing meaningful work as an entire team. So we rebuilt the team. Starting then, we always try to focus on hiring only people who can who thinks that Liner is a meaningful work for their life in the world, and then who are willing to create a meaningful relationship with our team members. So our hiring bar got really high.
Yeah.
So it was hard to even hire the first person. So it took like 3 to 6 months to hire one person.
Wow.
Starting from that transition in thought. But it led to a really sticky and strong team. And after that, I was very open to sharing everything to our team members because I knew that they trust our vision. I knew
Yeah.
that they trust me. So I was like, from now on, I'm going to get a fundraise. And I met a VC, and these are the reasons they rejected us. So I shared everything. And
That's awesome.
yeah. And at first, this was quite afraid for me. But when I started doing this as a very sticky to a very sticky team, I saw an interesting move where our PMs, designers, and engineers moved really fast to fix those problems that the VCs rejected us, and we were able to move on and on and get a successful results always. So
That's
yeah.
amazing.
So
Wow.
this.
Look, with so much noise in the AI space, what do you think companies need to do in order to essentially differentiate themselves?
That is one thing that we really, really think a lot about. And as a startup, I think the one way to differentiate yourself is to just focus on your customers.
Sure.
Because I think this might be a too textbook answer, but I think this is the only way because
Okay.
like OpenAI can do a lot of things. Google can do a lot of things. And they are willing to do a lot of things this time. So, but there are some niches that they are not going to get deep enough. Like if you use Liner, we have some features like citation formatting where you
Okay.
can just copy it and paste it on your essay, and every formatting will be done. This kind of things are not going to appear on Google search. I don't think this kind of things will appear on ChatGPT. So it's because Google search and ChatGPT are products for general public and it's for everyone. So it doesn't make sense for them to go too narrow into certain target segment. So for now, the only way to differentiate is to find this kind of very narrow points that your customer value, but the large companies are not going to do. And then using this as a like marketing material or the points that you are going to sell, and try to find the fastest way to scale as soon as possible because these days there are a lot of competitions as well. So it's I think it's really important for a startup to get into the mind of a customers faster than others.
Yeah.
So we always said that, and if you look at the book 0 to 1, there's a saying that we want to be the last scaler, last mover. We are not trying to become the first mover because we want to be Google, not Yahoo. So right, so we want to be the last mover, but maybe this time, since the everybody's brain is currently empty around the AI industry, because only when you meet customers, they only know ChatGPT. They don't know
Yeah.
other products yet. So, so for now, since the market is too early, it's I think it's very important to reach the customer's brain faster than others, and this is going to make the differentiation factor because it'll be really hard for them to change the thought.
Sure, that's fair. So that said, though, you've been a founder now for for like for almost a good 10 plus years. What is the scrappiest story you have while building Liner?
A scrappiest story?
Yeah.
Oh, uh, scrappiest story? Um, wh- hmm. Like, is it some kind of uh,
So when I say, I mean, it is. I mean, the scrappiest story. I like essentially mean, were there moments when customers demanded something that you had not yet built, and then fixed two things together and ensured that you had that product built or that service built immediately, and then you productize it down the road.
uh, yeah, of course there were a lot. So, wait a moment, please. So, I think last year, when that GPT 3.5 Turbo API was released, um, nobody in the world knew which kind of product should be built on top of this technology. So, including us, I think a lot of startups tried a lot of things. So back then, when you visited Liner, we were very we were a product that's very complex. So we had a highlighter product where you can install on your Chrome extension. We had a recommender feed which recommends articles. We had a AI search engine which gives you answers and the sources. And we also had the AI chatbot which you can chat on and then maybe find some reliable knowledge through the interaction. And the reason we did this is because we didn't know which kind of UX will be the most effective to our customers.
Sure.
So we just tried all and added everything in our product. So it was very hard for even us to tell what Liner is.
Yeah.
But it was like not 1 or 2 days. We were kind of exploration mode rather than exploitation mode. So for about 3 months, and then we figured out that this is the AI search thing is going to work rather than the chatbot thing to get knowledge. And since we did this kind of exploration, we did it in a very crappy way, but we found it quite faster than other startups. We were able to double down on that UX, that tech, and that led to our current version of quite high quality product UX and tech right now.
That's awesome, Luke. One thing that I always love to learn, right? I mean, as founders, I think we get so much advice from so many different people. What is the one biggest piece of BS advice that you've ever gotten?
Wow. Ah. Yeah, for me, why don't you guys focus on Korean market? I think was the most bullshit.
Yeah,
would
exactly.
be his advice, because um, why should we? Because we already have like 60% to 70% of our revenue coming from United States, and United States is the largest market in in the world, and we are our solution is working there. Right? Why should we focus on Korea? So I think that was a really bullshit advice. I know why he gave that kind of advice to me, because since our team is in Korea, and we if we want to penetrate other countries, and in Korea most of the startups fail to get traction in the United States. So I understand why he gave that kind of advice to me. But looking back, I don't think it makes any sense.
Yeah, that's for sure. Luke, very, very intrigued in terms of what your future outlook is for Liner. Like, what are some of the things that you're building? Are you going to be tapping different markets? What does the future look like?
Mhm. Uh, our our goal always has been to um, replace some part of Google search.
Okay.
So so if you look at Google search, there are a lot of things. There are commercial things, there are navigational things where you search about YouTube and go to youtube.com. But there are some portion of search where you are finding knowledge. And for that part, we want to be the go-to place for the users around the globe, everybody in the globe. So that is our ambition. Um, we hope we will be able to reach there. We are always going to look that way. But um, since we are a startup, not like a politician, we have to find the route to get there, right? And the route that we've chose right now is to focus on the users who are using Liner really well today, and they are people in higher education and in United States. So in the near future, we are going to create some products or some values that we can hear from them. So we see a lot of things. And if you look at the technology and product, how they evolved, as the tech and product UX evolves, people's expectations on certain things evolves. Like
Yeah.
if you think about knowledge back in 1990s or before, the most important knowledge was about memorizing everything. And like after Google, the best knowledge service. So before Google, I think the best knowledge service was libraries. And after Google, it's Google. And after Google, people's knowledge base quite a lot changed about how they can get to the information, meaning like memorize the path and the websites. And then these days, I think it's changing to asking good questions. And if this kind of transitions happen, the amount of things that the product has to provide, the tech has to provide, also changes.
Yeah.
So I think it will be safe for uh, everybody to expect that Liner is going to get over just finding things. We are going to help users actually apply the found knowledge or the references to
Well,
their outcome. Maybe that may be essays, like writing academic papers, or even writing a slide, or even writing a code. So we are going to not only be bound into just one thing, but we are going to, I think we will have to go over just finding things and applying
that,
them as well.
that's awesome. Luke, this has been such a fun conversation. I have learned so much from you. How can folks keep up with you and with Liner?
So, well, we have this LinkedIn. So you can find me on LinkedIn as Luke Jinu Kim and Liner there. And yeah, we have Instagram, we have an email, and our product you can visit on getliner.com. Or we also bought liner.com recently, so you can visit liner.com as well. Yeah, you can get updates from there.
That's amazing. Luke, thank you so much. This was such a pleasure meeting you. Really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, me too. It was really fun. Thank you.
Thank you.